Well, hello, my beautiful people. I decided to go with one of my video intros as the intro into the Bullhorn Betty channel for this afternoon as we are watching the press conference that is going to be going on. I wanted to give a shout out to a man. I have no idea who he is, but he speaks to me every day. I'm on TikTok. I always enjoy his messaging. It's just a messaging that speaks to my heart. It speaks to my soul. And his name is Jesse. Jesse J. Pedigo. Hopefully I'm saying his name right. Oh, wrong one here. There we go. Right here, Jesse J. Pedigo. And so I just want to give him a big shout out. I know he has a much bigger platform than I would ever. Hopefully I dream of having a platform like his, but he's just an amazing person, very soulful person. If you guys get an opportunity to go over to TikTok, please check him out. And also, I don't know if you guys noticed, he's got these awesome glasses. And I kept wondering, why in the world, where does he get these glasses? I've never really seen them before. And so I started thinking that these were high dollar glasses, right? Because he's always wearing them. And come to find out, he actually designed those glasses, and he makes inexpensive glasses. He's not trying to get rich off glasses. I think his markup is like $1 or $2 a pair. So it's just very interesting. So I just thought I would throw that out there because apparently a lot of people knew about this guy long before I did, right? So I just wanted to give him a shout out because that was a great messaging coming into the Bullhorn Betty channel. I know I've played it a few times. Coming in or going out, but it just really I had a few of them, but that really kind of screams to me, right? It screams to me. And so I just thought I would throw that out there. And actually on his site, as you go here and you type in Jesse, let me see if I can do it. You type in Jesse J. Pedigo, right? You got this, and then he has the click for the merch for his sunglasses and t-shirts. So I just thought I'd throw that out there since I am kind of bumming his inspiration a little bit. I thought I might throw him out there, right? So God bless him. God bless his messaging. It's really great to find people that really speak to you. So enough with my infomercial over this guy. I don't know that I just have like this. I don't know. It's not like a crush. Like I know he's married. It's not that kind of crush. It's like the crush, like not even jealousy, just like I don't know how to explain it. Anyways, let me move on, right? Let me move on. But he's just a great guy, and he always seems to speak to me. You would think that somebody that has all this heartfelt, soulful messaging probably has his life that's just been blown up, no love, been cheated on like 1,000 times. Like, I don't know how he does it. It sounds like he's got a great life, great marriage. Where does he come up with all these heartfelt quotes? Like this sounds like somebody that's been like through the freaking grinder, like grind me up. I am ground meat, right? So anyways, we are still sitting here waiting for, some things to go live. I'm checking it so we can figure out where we're going to plug in for the news conference that is going to be going on. I believe it's going to be a local station that's running this live. If anybody knows what link it is, pop the link in here because I need it. Not all of these have great audio. So I need the link that has the best audio because we're restreaming it to you guys. So there's going to be something there. Love his voice. I know he's got that. There's just something about him, right? There's just something about him. And he's got that soulful voice. He just seems like he's got the words. Where does he come up with all this? Like, right? Where does he come up with all of it? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I wish I had, like, I got a big mouth, right? I got a brain, right? But I think on a completely different side of my brain than many people, than I guess we're probably 50-50. I don't even know what side brain I'm on. Is it the right side? Is it the left side? I don't know. You're welcome, PHP. Oh, thank you. What was that? You're welcome, PHP. Did you send me something? Hold on. Oh, and a big shout out to Alabama mom of 4. I got it. So there are some people that are coming out, and I just wanted to put this kind of. Oh, who's this? Who's this? Oh, Karen P. Let's see what you got. Send me. What's she sending me? Oh yeah, I've got this. Let's see here. Yeah, I know what time it is and I know where it's at, but I don't know which person's going to be live streaming it. I've got them all up right now. Let me see if I can share this tab. I got everybody that's up right now that's going to be doing it. So I am monitoring. It's not like I'm not monitoring it, but I want to get to a source that's good. So if you guys come across the link, go ahead and send it when you guys get it. It's not really here yet. It should be starting at 3:30 Central Standard Time. Good morning, beautiful Betty. Well, Dottie. My word. It's been a little minute. It's nice to see you in the chat. God bless you. Good morning to you as well. Good morning to you as well. A crush like LOS have on Dolly. I don't know. Oh, probably. I don't know what that meant. That's okay. That's okay. But it's just one of those things where it's like not like a crush. Like I want to I'm crushing on his word porn. Okay, there it is. I'm crushing on the word porn. Okay. So it's nice to see you guys. Thank you guys for being here. We're going to be monitoring the Carlee, all this stuff as we approach the press conference, which is not going to be starting for at least another hour and 15 minutes. So until then, we're just going to go over the facts of the case. I know many people might be on the fence. There was something that Alabama Mama 4 sent me about, and it was a perspective from another person saying that Carlee hasn't said she was abducted yet. And I have to disagree because actions, it's almost like in law, there's something called like implied consent and other things where it's implied and based on her behavior, it was implied. And obviously implied consent is nothing that that's just when you're giving consent by way of not that you didn't have to give consent, but because you didn't pull it back, it's implied. So there's that implied part is the part, the nuts and bolts that you need to look at. It was implied because she called law enforcement to say a child was in the road. She did the action of scattering her belongings on the road to make it look like there was a struggle, including her wig. So she set up this. So even if she didn't say anything, she did these actions to make the appearance of. And that is just as bad, right? That's just as bad. So in my opinion, and I get what you're saying. No, just like I get that argument. She never said it, but even if we remove the actions behind it, I think she did, because even though we don't know what she told law enforcement in that very brief interview with her, her parents are coming out and saying that there was an abduction. So she's obviously stating that there is an abduction. Now, did she state that to law enforcement? Most likely she has made some type of statement to that respect. However, if she has not, and you have all of this implied actions from her that created this appearance of her being abducted intentionally, it doesn't matter whether she gives a statement to police or not, right? So if I went into somebody's house and burglarized it, whether or not I went and made a statement that I burglarized that house, it doesn't mean that there's not enough evidence to imply that I burglarized that house and I need to be arrested. So this whole thing that you need to make a statement in order to be charged with something is completely untrue. I don't know who's passing that nonsense around because it doesn't have anything to do with what you say. It has to do with your intent in your actions. Was your actions willful, intentional, and with malice? Even if she didn't expect this to get as big as it got, she had to have known that there would have been a search for her by law enforcement. She knew that law enforcement was going to expend money searching for her to put fear in her family so she could get pity. This was all for attention. I don't know whose attention she wanted. I don't care. I don't care. What I do care about at this point, well, first of all, she made it home safely. So the result we were achieving has been realized. With that being said, now we're left with the aftermath of what transpired. And it makes me really upset. It makes me really upset that this young woman gave no regard to her parents, gave no regard to her community, gave no regard to the law enforcement in that area, gave no regard to putting other people's health and life at risk. This is one thing I can say. I wasn't going to go to Hoover, Alabama, and I'm still probably not going to go, depending on how this press conference goes. Because I'm sorry, I saw a calculated, this girl acts like a spoiled brat. Period. She didn't get her way, and she was just going to show them. That's what it comes down to. And while many of these creators on YouTube and on TikTok have been feeding you a bunch of bullcrap, we've been keeping it real, 100% real. We've done our job. We did our job well. We stood up to criticism for doing our job well. We stood up being called ugly names for doing our job well. But I did not deceive my audience. I did not tell you what you wanted to hear. I didn't sugarcoat the information for you. I gave it to you real, and you took it as you did. You either believed it or you didn't believe it. That's it. That's all I can do. I can give you all the information. I can tell you what it means to me, but just because something means that to me doesn't mean it means that to you. I've been around the law for a really long time, right? From civil actions to criminal actions. You know, I've had my stints, you know, my 20s when I was all crazy, right? So I'm well-rounded, right? I'm well-rounded when it comes to the legal system on both sides, right? Right? But for the grace of God, there go I, right? But for the grace of God, there go I. And, you know, I feel bad for her. And I said all this earlier today, and I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but I feel bad for her that she made such a terrible decision that she is going to ultimately have to deal with the lengthy repercussions of this. This is not going to go away overnight. It popped up overnight, but it's going to be a long time before this goes away for their family. I anticipate law enforcement giving us a rundown of basically what they've said here. But since this was a press conference, when's the press conference? It'll be at 3:30 in 1 hour from now. It'll be because it's 2:30 Central Time. And so I'm in Eastern Standard Time, which is 1 hour behind Central Time. So when it's 2:30 Central Time, it's 3:30 Eastern Time. Reggie, be good. This sounds like Sherry Papini, what Sherry Papini did in 2015 or 2016. Yes, exactly. But she went away she went on even a more elaborate hoax than this young lady here, thank God, right? So hopefully it's not going to be that bad for this young lady. But I feel like I hope that they have a program in her. I don't know how Alabama law is. Like, we have a program here that if you get in trouble one time, you go through this alternative program. Granted, the length of time being in that program is a lot longer than if you just plead out or just take the charge or do your time. But what it does is it's like I don't know what they call it, but it's one of these programs you got to go into, and then if you don't have any problems, like once you're through with the program and you don't have any problems for like 5 or 10 years, they actually automatically remove that charge and everything from your record. But you have some requirements you must go through in order to do that. So it's some kind of I can't think of the word. This is what happens with lives. You think of stuff and you can't, like, it's on the tip of your tongue, but you just can't spit it out. And that's where I'm at right now. Alabama Mama 4, good to see you, love. Good to see you. And thank you for sending that. Thank you for sending that. It's just that it's hard for me to believe. And getting back to that, she probably did make those statements, or she obviously had to allege that this is a kidnapping. Why else would her parents be going out after seeing her, speaking with her? Remember, they just went out yesterday and did this interview with the Today Show. So she's gone back home, right? The 15th, when she came home at 10 o'clock at night, she went to the hospital. They evaluated her and released her. She was probably released early, middle of the night, right? 1 o'clock in the morning. 2 o'clock in the morning, something like that. She went home. So the parents have had 3 days to speak with her. And so mom decides to go out and give a prepared statement from an attorney. And I called it. As soon as I read that, I'm like, whoa, we got to go live. We got to go live. That's a prepared statement. That's not good. That's a red flag for me. And so we went live on it, and then we hear, and then she's like, oh, I need to read this. So she made it a point to read it to everybody. She had to read it because her attorney told her to read it on air. And that's what she did. So she was talking. She's like, oh, wait, I need to read the statement. Remember that? It's because she needed to read it because her attorney told her to. Now, if you are a victim of a crime and law enforcement is bending over backwards to help you, what would be the purpose of needing an attorney? Usually people that are victims of crimes don't get an attorney. Now their family, depending on, like the Gonzalez family, got an attorney, right? To represent because they have a dead daughter. Their daughter was murdered. So the victim has no rights because the victim is dead. So, and the family feels that some things did not go well. So in an effort to protect their daughter's interest and justice, they got an attorney. Totally different scenario. These people have their daughter returned. They're seemingly, they can't say that law enforcement did anything wrong. They were on top of it and she came home. So what is the purpose of them having a private attorney? The only purpose of them having a private attorney is if their daughter can be held legally responsible. And when we find out what their attorney is, we'll probably not be too shocked to find out he's most likely a criminal defense attorney. So I'm curious as to who their attorney is and what law he practices. But I have a funny feeling, expunged, thank you, Elle, expunged from the record. So I'm hoping that they have this alternative program in the courts. We had it here. We had like drug courts as teen. As a matter of fact, I was on drug court, not in drug court. I was on drug court. I've always had a passion for law since I was a young kid. And I actually signed up to be a juror and I think a defense attorney for the teen court, or I think it was the jury. I think we could only be a jury. I think we did have real prosecutors and defense counsel there. I can't remember. It's been so long ago, guys. I mean, and don't blame me. Like, it's literally been 30 years ago, 30 years ago. Okay. I would think it was like between 13 and 15 years old. Okay. I'm 43 years old. So you're talking about a significant amount of time. Or civil rights attorney. I don't know if they're going to there's no civil rights violations here. Unless they're trying to say the abduction, but even then they wouldn't be getting a civil rights attorney. That would be something of an improper arrest for various reasons. I don't know any civil rights attorneys that, well, I mean, I don't know. It might be, but it just doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't seem like the attorneys that they would need, even if this case was not like a hoax or anything like that. You know, they would be using probably a general practice attorney for something like this. When you start getting into those civil rights attorneys, you're talking about cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. But her family does have money. And that's why I always refer to it as rich girl problems. I'm not trying to be rude to her, but that this behavior is indicative of that of a spoiled kid. Let's be honest. I'm not here to bash that. I don't know this lady. I've never met this lady in my life. All I've got is the information. Ooh, is that my house watch pouring rain? Thank you. Thank you. I was like, really? What's wrong with that this rain? Oh, well, thank you. God bless you. Now that's what I'm talking about. You know how all those lies and people saying that my neighbors hate me so much. Remember how that was going around? How people said, "Oh yeah, we talked to our neighbors. Nobody on the street likes her." Wow. Well, you just heard my doorbell ring, and this is lunch for my neighbor, for the neighbors that hate me, right? The neighbors that hate me. God bless them. I love my community. It's not a Big Mac, Mike. It's not your type of food, but it is a hot dog. Oh, Robin, where's Chris? I got a hot dog for your hot dog. So anyways, getting back to this. So let me just kind of walk down how all of this kind of transpired. So I woke up one morning. Let me go to so I get all the times, right? Good Lord, I'd hate to make a mistake here on the streets of YouTube and speak incorrectly, because if I make a mistake, I'm not making a mistake. I'm lying to you. I'm lying to every one of you, right? So let's not make a mistake. Let's make sure we're completely factual, because good Lord. Good Lord. My lives. Okay, so this was 4 days ago. If you guys remember this, we'll go back to the other stuff. Remove that. They can amplify the voices, pitch the voices up, clarify. They can do all this massive stuff with their programming, right? So I was on here, but my thing was begging and pleading with social media. She's known to be helpful, and she has a big heart. Everybody I spoke to at this point have probability, but maybe not the strongest possible probability. So we have this child. Did something happen in this child's home where this child thought it was better to possibilities? So I don't care what anybody on the streets of YouTube or Twitter or TikTok say. I was advocating for it. I believed the story that we were being told, right? I believed it. I believed the story. And I came on my channel and I pled and pleaded with all social media, mainstream media, that this could have been your mother, your daughter, your child, your aunt, your sister. Please do your part. Begged you guys, if you guys went out there, make sure that you guys are making this a point of conversation in any chat room you guys go to. 4 days ago. Then I started running with this case. There was a lot of conspiracy theories running rampant, from she was abducted to aliens to all this. I was on the abduction theory. Actually, I was on the abduction SA theory, because based upon the information, I didn't even see that road until after I had started talking about the whole SA allegations. But then we saw the road and saw how large that 459 interstate was. I was thinking, because I've been all over this country, and there's been interstates like when we were covering Madalena Kojakari, I had to get on I-93 or I-90 or something there. That also doubled as Highway 43. But the interstate, there were several interstates that I drove on in Idaho that were like 2-lane roads, 1 lane this way, 1 lane this way, right? And so I was thinking that this must be that type of road. And then here live on this channel, during that particular live, I decided to pull up the map, and we realized this is a massive highway. Massive. And I'm thinking, how in the world did a kid, because if you saw a toddler on the side of the road, one car will pull up, but somebody else had to see it and somebody else had to see it. Now you get a line of people kind of, not knowing what's going on. They're probably all talking to each other like, well, where did this kid come from? Nobody did that. There was no brake lights as people were passing this child. There was nobody, cautiously covering their brake and looking back to see if that was a mannequin or a baby. There was none of that in this video that we received from the traffic cameras. And I kept thinking, I'm like, man, this is odd. Remember, I kept saying that, like, we got this traffic camera. Why is her flashers on? What? Her flashers are on. Did she pick up the child down here and then move it up here for the landmark? Like, why is her flasher still on? Why is she driving so far? Like my mind is going 1,000 miles a minute at like, what am I looking at here? I knew it was important information, but didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what it meant. Now I know what it means. And another part is we didn't see the whole video. I have now since learned that there is another traffic cam video that literally shows her stopped on the side of the road on the interstate for like 3 or so minutes before she starts approaching that mile marker 11 sign. So she was obviously preparing something back here. This was a calculated setup. This girl went out of her way to make it look like she was abducted. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. She planned it down to going to Target and buying the snacks she was going to eat on for 2 days. And where's the food she was supposed to bring home to her mother? Where's that? Moonshadow says, I went walking, heard a baby crying, so I walked down a road and went back, and a big monster was just standing there. Then I was gone for 2 days, and now I can't talk about it. That in a nutshell. I was wondering where this was going. Yes, that in a nutshell. That's basically what they basically have said, right? That's what they basically have said. That she reported a baby crying. And her mom's basically stating that there was this baby. She stopped for the baby. Somebody abducted her. I'm hearing from, this is what I'm hearing from, let me just be honest. And we played part of it today. Let me play it again. Is it still up? And this is what, that I've also kind of gathered. I concur with this particular creator here in their assessment. I don't know this creator. I don't know what information that they were able to get during their when they were speaking to people. Hold on, let me see what this. Hold on, let me just read some comments here. I said she would have. Okay, let's see. Defending the straw man says she would not have had time to make 2 calls in the time that her emergency lights were on. She likely turned at the off ramp and turned around if she was looking for the toddler next to the road. That's an assumption. That's an assumption. There is not one stick of evidence to corroborate that. Not one stitch of evidence, unfortunately. But I understand your perspective. I mean, there are a lot of hypotheticals, and we do talk on this channel about possible. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. But is it probable? That is what we need to know. And at the end of the day, nobody else saw this toddler. It wouldn't have mattered if she circled around 8 times. Nobody else saw this toddler. We watched those videos. Not one brake light, not one other person. We see her car pull up there. We don't see a toddler. It was pretty lit. I mean, in a sense, we could see shadows and stuff, but it was, I mean, out of all the stretches of roadway, right where she was the most lit area. So we were kind of able to get a glimpse of what truly was going on in and around her. We never saw a child on the side of the road. We never saw a shadow of a child on the side of the road. We never saw a shadow of an abductor. We literally watched a shadow get out of the driver's seat, walk around the back side of her car to the passenger side of the car. Something happened. We saw her there, a shadow figure there for 30 seconds or 45 seconds. And then we see that shadow moving over toward the tree line. So that's what we saw. We didn't see we definitely didn't see a toddler, and we definitely didn't see a second shadow of any kind. So again, where did this abduction come from? Where did this child come from? You know, let me ask you this. We have camera footage showing her down there sitting for 3 minutes on the side of the road. That doesn't sound like she was driving around in circles and then getting back on the ramp. That sounds like she was sitting there calling someone saying, hey, I'm about to drop the car. Can you meet me at so-and-so? Can you pick me up there? That's what that sounded like. And then a few minutes later, because the video that we saw for that camera was 5 minutes long. So you take a minute. I mean, think about it. Time me. Hi, 911. I see a toddler in the road. Can you please tell me the location of where you're at? Sure. I'm on 495 right next to the mile marker 11 exit. Can you explain what the little toddler's wearing? Or what the description of the little toddler is. Caucasian, wearing a white shirt and a white diaper. Is there anybody around? No, there's nobody around. Are you in a safe place? Yes, I'm in a safe place. Do you mind? I need to call my family. No problem. Law enforcement will be there in just a few minutes. Just please stay in a safe location. So how long did that take? It didn't even take a full minute to go through an entire conversation. Now, granted, even if it extended to a minute, it sounds like she made the call and she immediately got off with law enforcement and called her family to set up that last final thing, because she knew law enforcement was on the way to her. So she calls them back, says, hey, are you okay? Are you okay? Ah! That's it. It was strategic and it was planned. And law enforcement has come out over and over again and told us there was no baby there. Now, if they're telling us she lied about the baby, do you honestly think that she was truthful about the abductor? Just saying. Oh, that brings me up to another thing. Thank you. Money, 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 money. Money, right? This is also my demand for her family to pay the cash back. Pay it back. I ain't playing with you fools. Pay it back. You know what you did. You know how I did it. Your mommy and daddy are rich enough. Pay the money back. That's all I'm going to say. And I am going to be very vocal about this. In the world, crazy Betty talking about, right? What is crazy Betty talking about? You're about to see. You're about to see. Everybody's like, oh, the family didn't take no money. Yes, they did. Oh, yes, they did. Yes, they did. They didn't take reward money. Oh, but honey, they got the money. Believe that. Why was it canceled? Better send that. Hold on, as soon as I can get this to send. There we go. There we go. Let me get this over here. We're going to read this. We're going to read this. And again, I demand this family give that money back. Give the money back. And they know what I am talking about. They know what I'm talking about. So we're going to read this. Oh, yes, we are. We're going to read this schnizzit. I live in her neighborhood, just a few streets over from her house. I don't know her personally, but our community rallied together and put forth our best efforts to find her. We collected donations and sent thousands of dollars to her parents via Venmo, Cash App, gift cards, and cash. Pay the damn money back. Pay the money back. That right there irks me more than anything. Now, granted, I understand her parents did not know and I'm a little skeptical on that too, because mama and daddy know their daughters better than anybody else. And they willfully did not tell us about this behavioral issue their daughter has been having. They left all of that out. And so don't think that the parents, I went up and said, nobody's receiving the reward. It was one of my TikTok videos saying nobody's receiving a reward. And everybody came and attacked me. Oh yeah, but the family never received money. They never got any money. They never did that bull hockey. Because the people in their community have been sending them cash, have been sending them gift cards, have been sending them Venmo payments, have been sending them Cash App payments. Pay that money back. Your daughter did wrong, and your family should not be rewarded for her wrongdoing. We held a community-wide prayer vigil on her street. We painted and hung posters all throughout the town. We hosted a prayer and prayers and popsicles one day in the neighborhood park. The neighbors created sign-up sheets to take her parents' meals for weeks. Crafty people in our neighborhood created pink and green awareness ribbons that we all displayed on our front door at our expense. Just to name a few things we devoted ourselves to, we all mourned together for 2 whole days. We dropped everything to help her and provide support for her families. Some of us were in fear of our own lives. And then this story began to unfold. And like the rest of the country, we began to scratch our heads. People removed themselves from meal sign-up sheets. The bows are dwindling from the front porches in our neighborhood deserves answers. Her parents want privacy. And then go on to the Today Show. We gave our all to her and her family, and we are waiting on bated breath for some good news. I personally dropped to my knees and sobbed when I got the text that she was found alive that night. And now nothing, crickets. We feel duped. I want my money back. I want the PTO I used to aid in the rescue search back. Enough is enough. These are the people in her community. These are the boots on the ground while all these other creators are trying to lie and manipulate and act like this girl had a mental breakdown and this. No evidence has supported that. You know what the evidence has supported? The evidence has supported that she made this entire thing up, that she was very strategic, that she's got rich girl problems. That's what the evidence provided here. And we got too many people pussyfooting around here on the streets of social media, not being able to tell their audience the truth because they're so worried about PC culture and the cancel culture coming in and beating them up and calling them racist. I don't care what you call me. The truth is the truth, no matter how you say it. And this was where the problem came in. Many people are pinned against each other and pitted against each other. The ones that want to believe in the good of Carlee Russell versus the people that can see with their own eyes she's full of crap. We never here on the Bullhorn Betty channel ever try to deceive our audience. And that's why people keep coming back. For all the people that wonder why anybody listens to me, it's because of this. It's because when people fail to stand up, I do. When people refuse to tell you the truth because it's not politically correct, I tell you the truth. This girl made this up. She planned this. Trust me, I feel duped too. And people even said, tried to criticize me for saying I feel duped. I can't believe you would say that. At least she's home safe. She lied. She lied. There was nothing wrong with her. She was safe from the beginning. She has rich girl problems. She has rich girl problems. These are the people in her community speaking up. That's everything I teach everybody here day in and day out. You see something, you say something. They saw something, they say something. Everybody wanted to give this girl a benefit of the doubt. After, like I said, when I started getting into the social media, that was it. It did me in. It did me in. Her social media was littered with, if people would have just got off their butts and looked, and granted, and in all fairness, our audience shouldn't be doing this. I'm not talking to our audience. I'm talking to the other creators that like to, walk on eggshells, not be able to look at the evidence and tell their audience what they're seeing. That's the problem I have. Everybody's scared to make a mistake. Well, let me tell you, I've been beat up on these streets for so long that it doesn't matter what I say or do. There's going to be people that like it and people that hate it. So at this point, I got nothing to lose in telling you guys the truth and having bold statements. So who else do we have? The real Me Too. Mike Stevens says guilty. Oh my God, our resident defense attorney. Holy crap. This chick is not just guilty. She's guilty. If people don't know or are not in my chat very often, Mike, God love his soul. I'm going to say his soul. Wink, wink. Right? We love Mike to death, but Mike has always been, has always rooted for the underdog, right? Has always rooted for the underdog. And, and when you got Mike saying, whoa, something ain't right. But that's okay. All you got to do is put her on the stand. She shows those tears and Mike suckered right back in. Oh, she's got to be innocent. That's too passionate for somebody to be. Mike, if you represented the bad guys better, you might upgrade from the Big Mac to the Quarter Pounder. Who knows? Who knows? We might even supersize it for you if you're real good. She will make it hard for someone when they are exactly. And that, while I'm, making light of some of this, and that is absolutely true. And that's why I say we have to make an example out of her, which is unfortunate because I feel for her. I feel like she made a terrible mistake that she's going to already have to pay for it even without light. But to be honest with you, if she doesn't have, if people, because this is so well noted and so polarized, if they don't bring the book, the hammer down on her, so to speak, other people will think it's okay to do this. We cannot have this type of resources being utilized for hoaxes in this country. Like, we've got children that are in horrible homes and horrible environments, and people that are being murdered, abused out there on the streets. Our law enforcement doesn't have time for this nonsense. And so I want to make sure that this does not happen again. And if it does, you are handed a hefty penalty, no different than that chick Sherry Papini in California. Obviously, 18 months is not long enough for people to get a clue. Don't do this. I have no idea. I haven't even ordered anything. Oh, that's okay. Give me just a second here, guys. I got some minor issue to deal with. Minor issue. All right, guys, we're getting close to 3. I'm going to have to start looking for some plugs for that What You Doodle. Give me just a second. Yeah, that's not happening. Hold on a second. There we go. All right. Just one. Sorry, guys. I have some issues here with one of my. Okay, I just fixed it. All right. Getting back to this. So I feel kind of like we were duped, and throughout this whole thing. And I think I even used that word several times on here. So let me go ahead and pull this back and let me start figuring out where our. But isn't that sad? Like, that's their neighborhood. Their neighborhood is coming out and saying, look, we stopped everything for you, your family, and your daughter. We gave you thousands of dollars that we raised. And you have literally taken that money. Your daughter lied. And you're going to keep the money as well? Is that where we're going in all of this? I mean, I don't understand that. So I'm demanding that the family return the money, return those gift cards. Even if they spent it, you know what? It seems like they're well-to-do enough that they can pay back the generosity that was given to them over a lie. And granted, it's not the parents' fault. It really isn't. They believed this story just like we do. You could see the fear on the parents' face when they were looking for their daughter. Like, I keep thinking of my mom. My mom. My mom literally had to worry about me dying multiple times, like dead, like me dying. My mom had to live through some of the ugliest parts of my life that were filled with things for, even at that point, maybe in part, maybe I myself didn't want to exist at that moment. I don't know. But in my 20s, it was a very dark, dark time. But my mother actually had to wake up, stay up at night and worry whether I was going to return alive or not. She really had that concern. So I know what my mom has gone through. And for somebody to intentionally put their own mother through something like this is beyond me. That's the one thing I can honestly tell you. I've done a lot of things in my past that were foul as hell. And the one thing I never did was do this to my parents. I may have run away, maybe my family, but I never made them feel like I was abducted, that something terrible had happened to me, that my life was truly in danger. Now, how I lived, how selfish, you're right. You're right. I was 15 to 20 something. Yeah, kids that age are pretty freaking selfish, right? Sounds similar to our 25-year-old that we're discussing here right now, right? Very selfish. Very selfish. Now you know why I give back so much. That's exactly why I give. It's my way of righting my wrongs in my life. That's how it's done. So let me get on here. While we wait, I'm going to start looking for the press conference. But until then, if somebody wants to call in and talk about this case, how they feel, what they were feeling at the beginning, how they feel now, I know we do have a few people in here that just still believe that she was abducted, and that's okay. And that's okay. I think by the time you're done with the press conference here today, I really thank you. The people that are still team Carlee Russell, I really have a funny feeling you guys are going to be upset. And I'm just forewarning you before that happens. Sorry, I'm trying to eat lunch. Let's see if there's any more that are coming up. So we've got a few places. I'm going to go ahead and pull this one up. There we go. Our Jennifer, let me play this. Sorry, calling home. This is Betty. I'm doing well. Who's this and where are you calling from? I appreciate it. Is there anything you'd like to discuss on the Carlee Russell case? Sorry, I am always unavailable to people that call my show for a date. And it looks like you're far, far away. So good luck. That was cute. Sorry, I didn't mean to hang up on you, my fan. But you're way too far away from me. I don't do well with long distance relationships, but I'm flattered. Please tell me you look cute at least. No, I'm just joking. But we do have a good feed. I got a good feed for the press conference. See what this is. This is Betty. Oh, I don't even know. Hold on just a second. Can you call me back in 2 seconds? Because I didn't bring you on. I don't think you're on my, I haven't even added the phones to the stream and I'm scared I'm going to dox you. Can you call me right back? Okay, thanks. Okay, let me get this up. I didn't realize it wasn't even on the panel yet. So that's what I was making sure we didn't do. I didn't want somebody's number being on there. So, okay, Ruby, call back. Can you clarify that the parents got money? I heard they asked all to send to Crime Stoppers. It's not that. It's the community. Their local community, their community, their area. They sent them kit. So obviously they had their Cash App, their Venmo. They gave them gift cards and cash. All right. Sorry about that, Ruby.
Oh, okay. How you doing?
I'm doing well. What do you think of this nightmare story?
Well, to tell you the truth, when you first reported on this and I heard the details, it reminded me of a case that I worked on about 4 to 5 years ago up in Northeast Arkansas. A young woman had some sort of a mental psychotic episode or something, and she was doing strange things. She was telling people she was seeing snakes and all sorts of different things. And she left her hometown up in Northeast Arkansas. It borders, I believe it's Tennessee. And she came from a little town about 60 to 80 miles away. And she ended up in this rinky-dink town up in Northeast Arkansas. And an off-duty cop actually tried to pull over and help her. Mm-hmm. It was December. Late November. She had no coat, no shoes, no phone, no money. She was acted really skittish. And anyway, she disappeared, and she was found out in the woods about a month later, out in one of those fields. But I had thought that maybe this was a case similar to that, mm-hmm. Hallucinating, seeing a toddler on the side of the road. And so, that scared me at first. And now to find out that this was just all some sort of little rich, spoiled brat looking for attention, she ought to have her butt whipped.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in here. And once you get off the phone, I'm going to bring that up because we got new people, the new people that are coming in that want to see, because many people think that I'm talking about the Crime Stoppers Fund. I'm not talking about the Crime Stoppers Fund. So if you guys just sit around, when I get off the phone with Ruby, I will bring that post back up. Her community, the community in and around where Carlee lives, the community raised funds. They gave the parents Venmo money, Cash App money. They gave them gift cards and actual cash, thousands of dollars. They gave that family.
Wow.
Over and above that Crime Stoppers funds. That community raised thousands of dollars for this family and gave that to them. So anyways, I'll show that when you go. I know you like to, go ahead and tell me your parts on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to kind of finish up, and that's a hell of a lot more than what Michelle Lee Bell got, because the cops in Northeast Arkansas would not do a damn thing for Michelle's family. And her father was a former cop in Tennessee. But when you cross state lines like that, there's multiple agencies involved. And when you got one that wants to sit on their butt and not do anything, and they're the main one, you can't do anything. I mean, it was me and my cousin who were running a missing persons Facebook page were the only ones. We helped her family more than the police did.
Yeah.
And it was just so sad. So to hear that everybody in the community and the police went above and beyond for this girl, way more than what they did for poor Michelle, and to find out this was fake, I'm sorry. Her mama ought to turn her over her knee and whip her like a redheaded stepchild.
I agree. Couldn't agree more. I could not agree more.
I would whip my kids' rear ends.
And I really think the family, I think they did. The reason why they went on the Today Show, because an attorney would want them to make a public statement. They would want them to but they will not let them go on another show again. I can guarantee that.
Right.
They made their statement to the world, and now they're going to shut up because, it's a legal matter at this point for Carlee. And what do you say to a client that has a legal issue? Do not say anything to anyone. Keep your mouth shut. So that's what we're dealing with right now from her family.
Yeah. I mean, it's not her family's fault. And I agree. Her family was terrified. But, they should pay that money back too. I mean, I would be embarrassed.
Because it was their daughter. Granted, they did let's just say everybody did everything that they were supposed to do in a situation like that. Like this came together really well. Media, social media, law enforcement, everybody was working to find this girl. We had a very limited time, 48 hours, to find her and recover her healthy. Because after the first 48, the statistics go way, way, way down. But we were all urgency because it appeared she was abducted. But when you look at it and then you realize she's the one that scattered the wig, she's the one that put the purse out there, she's the one that made this mess of a struggle.
I think we
need to pay that money back. Yeah,
definitely. And there's so much out there on the internet and ideas and stuff. And you have these young creators out here that are these big time influencers, and they do everything from wearing a costume, doing the robot in Walmart to they're just all these random
stupid stuff,
short videos that these TikTokers and stuff, make a lot of money to do. And some of these people get some of this dumb ideas and stuff from these YouTube influencers. And I've got a situation going on with my 11-year-old granddaughter from something she watched on Netflix.
Yeah.
And, it's no holds barred out there in the world. And these kids see it and they're like, oh, that's funny. I think I'll do that. Or, oh, that looks cool, or, or whatever. And they do this stupid stuff. And, there's dire consequences.
Yeah. Yeah.
For it.
Well, I appreciate
I'm glad. I'm glad this was not a mental health issue with this girl, like what happened with Michelle Lee Bell. you know, but I'm sorry, her mom ought to whip her ass.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm confident that her parents. I mean, I'm pretty sure that there was. We're going to find out that there was some length of time from the time she showed up at home to the time they called law enforcement. We're going to find out that there was something there. There was some time limit there where they were talking to their daughter, even though they called this in as an unconscious, unresponsive person. Clearly, that wasn't being truthful either. So there's a lot of, I mean, there's going to be some damage control being done by her family. And I mean, I understand it. I mean, it's not like, I don't understand the legal process. I don't understand what she's going through. Of course, I understand it. I feel bad for her, but, good people do stupid stuff all the time. And guess what? It doesn't preclude them from being charged with their stupid stuff. I mean, I'm a good person. Was I living my life right at a portion of my life? No, I wasn't. And, I had to make a lot of changes in my life to get here. And it sounds like she's at that point in her life. She needs to start making a lot of changes to get her life back on track again.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I've been there and, done that too, and done stupid stuff that
of course
I ought to be in jail for.
Of course.
I mean, I did some crazy stuff and, even crazy, like, outrageous stuff that I should either be in jail or dead.
Yeah. I get it.
And I managed to live through it all.
Yeah, that likewise. And that's what I said. I have.
But not everybody is that fortunate.
Yeah. And that's it, is that, there is a reason why I'm here. There was a time when even I wondered if I would make it to 30. I mean, to be honest with you, there was times that, like I said, but for the grace of God, there go I. There's been times when I was younger that I would have wanted to do this for attention or something, but you know what? I didn't, and we didn't. And a lot of people that do want attention don't do this because it's stupid, it's childish, it's petty, and look at all the repercussions she's going to have.
Absolutely. And something serious could have happened to her. We see it all the time. These kids run away and they end up on the street, and then they end up in human trafficking and prostitution and, kidnapping and horrible situations. Yeah. These kids, just have no idea what meanness is lurking around the corner.
Right. Exactly.
And it's just, she definitely needs to be made an example out of. And I don't care if she gets a hefty fine and does community service and has to, volunteer with troubled kids or elderly people at the nursing home or something.
Right.
She needs to learn a lesson from this and, and teach a lesson to other kids as well.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel bad for the parents, but the parents know what truly happened now. And now they know that this was a concoction from the dog. They can, for legality purposes, maintain that she was abducted. If that's what she needs to do for her defense, you can maintain that, but give the money back. That's all I care about. Give the money back to the people that raised it. I mean, this is bad, but I want people to know this should not be the reflection of the family. This should be bared by Carlee Russell and Carlee Russell alone.
Right. And, there is another young lady or a child that's missing that needs that money, that needs that help.
Absolutely. But I can understand the frustration from the community, though. And they,
oh yeah,
and it's not that people aren't happy that she made it back alive. I mean, of course, at the end of the day, that's really all that matters.
Oh, absolutely.
But on the flip side of that, we also have a responsibility to taxpayers, to the community, to the people in and around the community, not only to keep them safe, but to be good stewards of, our finances, our resources, our government resources. And this was very taxing. We're watching how, first of all, we've had a decade of defunding police, defunding our system, defunding our justice system. And each and every one of these counties are struggling financially. And then you add a big, huge, bill like this. It's not fair to the community. It's not fair to those people.
It's like the situation with Summer in Hawkins County. Hawkins County is a very poor, system, and they don't have the resources and stuff. And, it's their own fault for not accepting help. But, I'm sure there's thousands and thousands of dollars that have gone into the search for Summer. And, we know somebody's lying.
And we also see that people don't realize, on the flip side of that, we also see where these huge searches go on in the community. A great example, like Summer Wells, right? Like Summer Wells, where they didn't find anybody guilty yet. So that's money that they just spent. And then when you have that, you always see this negative reaction in the court systems thereafter, because now they got to figure out their budget, which means that the people that should be behind bars may get probation because they can't afford to house them. There's a lot of things that people don't understand about politics and about budgets. At the end of the day, your county only has so much money. That's it.
Right. Oh, but you and I have been in city council meetings and quorum court meetings. We know about this stuff. A lot of the general public don't know about this kind of stuff.
A lot. They can't take their employees' paychecks and spend it on searches. That is designated. They have several different accounts, and even if there's $1 billion sitting in an account, that's the $1 billion that's paying for your employees and all your people and all your stuff for the next year. It's that secondary account that's for all the other stuff.
Right. When my uncle became the mayor of my hometown, my uncle, that man, one thing he could do was he could budget some money.
Mm-hmm.
And he redid all the books in the mayor's office, and he dug up money the city didn't even know they had.
Mm-hmm.
And he totally remodeled the park, totally remodeled downtown, built an amphitheater over at the park, did all kinds of amazing stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's what it takes. It takes somebody like that. And that's why, there's going to have to be some change in Hawkins County for them to ever get better.
Yeah.
You've got to somebody in there that cares and wants to provide you a good public.
There's nothing good. I'm sorry. System. There's few and far between. I have never seen such a corrupt system like Hawkins. Well, yes, I have. Chatham County. But Hawkins
mine used to be that way.
Yeah.
Mine used to be that way.
It's just as bad because in Hawkins County, you have their city councilmen, politicians going to jail for drug charges. So even the people running their county are hopped up on some god-awful freaking concoction of drugs.
Oh, believe me, I know. I mean, it's police and drugs and corruption that brought me into the world of true crime when I was 17 years old.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All
right, hon. Well,
that's my former hometown.
We got 10 minutes before this press conference comes.
Okay.
So I'm going to give my final
I'm excited to hear it.
All right, love. Take care.
Talk to you later.
God bless.
Bye.
Bye. So I've already turned the phones off because I know we're approaching this, and I don't want to cut somebody off, in the middle of their conversation. So I went ahead and turned that off. I'm going to just pop this out, and I'm going to pop that photo. Where is the photo? There it is. Pop the photo up like I promised to my audience. Let me find a different thing, a different background. There we go. Okay. So I wanted you guys to see this. Oh, guess I got to present it first. Oops, did I do that? Did I do that? There we go. We'll do this window. There we go. So let me see if I can pop this. Can I make it bigger? Let me go. There we go. So here is what I'm talking about to all the people that want my receipts and say that the claim that the family received money, there's nothing like that. That is absolutely fabrication. Anybody telling you that this family has collected zero for the search of their daughter is not being truthful to you. This is a post from a person that lives into her community. It says, I live in her neighborhood just a few streets over from her house. I do not know her personally, but our community rallied together and put forth our best efforts to find her. We collected donations and sent thousands of dollars to her parents via Venmo, Cash App, gift cards, and cash. And I'm telling the family they need to return the money. They need to return that to the people that came out to help them. Now, granted, it's, well, Susie Sue, in all fairness, it's not really disgusting because at the time the family knew, thought their daughter was abducted and they themselves stopped everything for them. I don't think that this was a con of her parents by any stretch of the imagination. I think that they were brought into it just like we are. I think that they were duped equally as us. And so they were receptive of the support that was coming in because they didn't know what they were up against. So I understand the collection process, accepting those kind things as gifts from those people, because in reality, they are gifts, right? But they're gifts based upon a lie. And so Venmo, you can refund them the money. Cash App, you can refund them the money. You can return the gift cards where they came from, and you can definitely take that cash that they handed you out of your wallet and give it back to them. You absolutely can do that. There's no need for you to have the money. This is something your daughter created, and all of us as parents have to do the right thing, even when our children do not. And sometimes that means standing up against our children. I know my father did it. I'll tell you a story. I was 9 years old. I was hanging out with a friend. I think her name was Brooke. We went to the convenience store around the corner. This is when I was 9 years old, 10, maybe 11. I was I was trouble. I had problems in my household, so I was always a trouble child, good child, but troubled child at this time, but not too much of a trouble. But we went into this thing. This is back when I don't know how many of you remember back when they had the cigarettes on the outside of the cabinet. You walk up, you pick your cigarettes up, and you put them on the counter. You grabbed your own cigarettes. They didn't have all that plastic stuff, and the cashiers had to go get it for you. They had it all lined up. They had your single cigarettes on the top, and they had your cartons on the bottom. So I stole a pack of cigarettes. And I was hanging out with my friend thinking I was cool. And I went and I can't remember what happened, but I went home. Of course, kids, we try to swish our mouth out. I'm sure my parents smelt the cigarettes on me. Neither one of my parents smoked. And if anybody knows cigarettes, it's a very potent smell. So I think they knew it. And then when I took a shower, I think that's when my parents went to go investigate the cigarette smell that they were smelling on their daughter that was supposed to have been at a park playing. Like, how did their daughter get cigarette smoke on her? And they must have found these cigarettes. So when I got dressed and stuff, I heard my dad call and said, you need to get down here. We need to have a conversation. I'm like, sure, no problem. What's going on, Dad? Right? And he throws the cigarettes down on the table. He goes, where did you get these? And he goes, I want to know where you got them. And I started booing. What do you mean? I didn't do anything wrong. Where'd you get these cigarettes? Where did they come from? And I remember saying, I stole them. He said, where did you steal them from? I said, the store around the corner. He said, I want you to go upstairs and get your piggy bank. And I remember saying, no, not the piggy bank. He goes, I want you to go upstairs and get your piggy bank. So I went upstairs and got my piggy bank. He made me not only go back to that store return the cigarettes. Now, mind you, when I was 9 years old, packs of cigarettes were $1.90, I think, or maybe $1, maybe 90 cents. I can't remember. It was ridiculously cheap. Definitely not the prices that we're dealing with today. So I took my piggy bank up there. My dad drove me back to the store, and he walked me in, and he goes, sir, he goes, my daughter stole a pack of cigarettes from you. He returned the cigarettes. He goes, if you want to call the cops on her, I'm not going to stop you. That's what he said. If you're going to call the cops on her, I'm not going to stop you. And I went to boo-hooing. I was crying hysterically. I was so upset. I was so ashamed. I could not believe it. And he's like, sir, I'm not going to call the cops on your daughter. I appreciate you bringing these back, and I'll make sure it's noted, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, well, then she's giving you this. And he goes, give him your piggy bank. And I said, what? And he goes, give him your piggy bank. And I said, no. He goes, take all the money out of your piggy bank right now, or I'm going to break it on the floor, and you're going to pick it up and put it on the counter. And so I took the little plug out the butt, out the belly, and I emptied my entire piggy bank that I had been saving all summer long. And I had to hand it to that cashier. I think it was only like $22 or $23, but you're talking about a 9-year-old kid. That felt like $1 million to me. And I had to hand my $1 million piggy bank over to this cashier because I stole. Now, I ask you, honestly, do you think I ever stole a thing again? Throughout all of you guys know my history, had a lot of problems in my 20s. There's definitely one thing I can't stand, and it's a liar or a thief. Do you ever think I stole anything again? I never stole another thing again. Ever. It was that impactful for me. It was that impactful for me. That was a life lesson. That are the lessons that parents are supposed to teach their children. It's not all about, protecting your children. It's sometimes you have to. Is this the right one? Yes. Sometimes you have to allow them to get in trouble for them to grow, because it comes back to that hot stove that we were talking about in the language of letting go, right? It's like the hot stove. You'll never do it again. Once you are punished, right? Once you are punished, and you are punished to the point that it's embarrassing for you. Like, it was truly embarrassing for me to go through that at 9 years old. I was highly embarrassed. But what a life lesson. And it's a life lesson that I will never forget. And still almost 35 years later, that story still resonates with me. And my parents didn't do a lot of things right in their life, but they did a lot of things right. They weren't perfect, but they at least taught us how to be adults, even how imperfect they were. And so that's what there's no right or wrong answer when it comes to raising your children, Well, there are wrong answers, right? Don't use drugs, don't abuse them, and don't drink in excess, right? Take them to church, put them in things to keep them busy, because busy hands are happy hands, right? Busy hands are happy hands. And that's what I can say. Back in the day when we were growing up, we didn't have all this technology. We were required to keep our hands busy. We needed to go out and play in the yard. We didn't get to stay in the house for hours on end, giving ourselves cabin fever and indoctrinating ourselves with these virtual toys and stuff like that. We had fresh air. Your mama kicked you out of the house in the morning, told you to come back at night so she can clean the house. She didn't want dirty youngins running around the house messing it up her clean house. This is the time she has to be clean.
1 2. Mic check. 1 2. Mic check. Everybody give me a thumbs up. I just want to make sure we're good. Mic check. 1 2. Mic check. 1 2. in the city of Hoover, Alabama, 123.
All right.
Right at 2:30 now.
Always appreciate a good mic
Central
check.
Daylight Time. Everybody good? Everybody good? Mic check 1 2. Mic check.
Once
We're getting very close.
this live is over,
Mic check 1 2.
I'm going to be
Mic check.
immediately
You're good, Mike?
ending our
Mic
live.
check.
You
You're
see
good?
her
I've got
saying that
a
we're getting
date
close.
with my
Everybody's good?
family.
A
We're good.
lot of
We're good, sir.
anticipation
In the
for this
break? Okay.
because so many days have passed since
All right.
Carlee Russell turned up.
Go back
People
up, right?
want to
Want me to do
know
one real quick?
what happened. Again, one of the big
We're going to, oh, I didn't mean to pause
reasons
that.
why people real story was because it was
I just wanted to make sure that I turned the volume off while we're doing, I don't need his commentary. Oh, hold on.
minutes. So that's the official 2-minute warning from.
Okay, we got 2-minute warning here. So I'm going to pause him. I'm going to take him off my screen for right now. Once the press conference is truly underway, we'll pop it back up so we can all see it. Now, I'm going to prepare you guys. We already have a good idea what law enforcement is going to say here. I'm hoping it's just a sad situation, but I think we're going to get some clarification. Hey, you know what? Maybe the haters are going to have something to attack me over because of this. Maybe I got something wrong, and now they can go and make 15,000 videos about how I got it wrong, right? It's possible. It's possible. But I don't think I got this wrong because I have done some in-depth searches and research related to this case. I would never, and that's what a lot of people say. They just think I willy-nilly come out and point fingers at people. I don't. I don't like, do you think I want Don Wells to be guilty of doing something to his daughter? Do you think I want that? Of course not. I'd like to know that that young girl had a loving home, but that's not the case. And when I went out and investigated and did my fact finding, everything led right back to him. It's not that I want it to be that way. Trust me. Why would I want any child to look at their parent as they're taking their last, you know? That's despicable. Never. I don't want these people being guilty. I don't want this young lady having problems. I don't want that. All right, guys, we're going to be getting started here.
All right. Good afternoon and welcome to the Frank and Pam Bearfield Training Center. I'm Captain Keith Sescaliba. That's spelled KEITHCZESKLEBA.
Turn your volume up if you need
with the Hoover
to.
Police Department. Joining me at the podium today will be Hoover Mayor Frank Brocato, spelled BROCATO, and Hoover Police Chief Nick Durzis, spelled DERZIS. You may also hear from Lieutenant Daniel Lowe, spelled LOWE, of the Hoover Police Investigations Division. Mayor Brocato will make a brief opening statement, and then Chief Durzis will read a prepared statement. After Chief's statement is complete, there will be an opportunity to ask a few questions regarding this investigation. Keep in mind that this is still an ongoing investigation, so there may be some questions that we cannot answer. With that, I will turn it over to Mayor Brocato.
Thank you and good afternoon for you all coming today. You know, 6 days ago, our community learned about the disappearance of Carlee Russell, and it sent fear and pandemonium not just through our city, but the entire state and the nation as well. The media quickly joined us to get the word out about Carlee. Our community sprung into action, and they organized search parties, arranged prayer vigils, and they took other steps that I'm not even aware of to help in this situation.
God bless them.
The Hoover Police Department quickly rallied multiple partner agencies, stopping at nothing to find Carlee. I'd like to take this time to say thank you first to the Hoover Police Department, our partner agencies, our wonderful community, and to all those that aided in some way in connection with this situation. As the days have gone on and more information has been shared, we know everyone has questions. The Hoover Police Department is known for being very methodical and thorough with their investigations. For that reason, we did not feel comfortable speaking in detail publicly until now. It is important that we share this information now so that our community can be put at ease. So at this time, I'll turn the microphone over to Hoover Police Chief Nick Durses. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank everyone for being here today. Besides me stands the team who played a significant role in this investigation. I want to thank our department, members of surrounding local law enforcement agencies, the FBI, Secret Service, United States Marshals, and ALEA for their assistance in this case. We said from the evening of July 13th, our focus would be the safe return of Carlee Russell. That occurred on Saturday, July 15th, approximately 49 hours after she called 911 and disappeared. From that point, our focus has been to determine Carlee's whereabouts during that time and what exactly took place. Let me say up front, this investigation is not over. We're still working this case, and we'll work in this case until we uncover every piece of evidence that helps us account for the 49 hours that Carlee Russell was missing. However, through the public interest, and in some cases, public fear that this story has generated, we owe it to our citizens to tell them the facts that we have uncovered. So I will give you the facts that we know today. On July 13th, at approximately 8:20 p.m., Carlee left work from a business at the Summit. Surveillance video from her place of employment shows Carlee concealed a dark-colored bathrobe, a roll of toilet paper, and other items belonging to the business prior to her departure. She ordered food from Tzatziki's at the Colonnade and traveled there. She then traveled to Target on 280, where she purchased some granola bars and Cheez-Its. From there, she remained in the parking lot at that shopping center until 9:21 p.m. when she drove to I-459.
Boom.
Carlee communicated on her cell phone with individuals known to her while on her path of travel up to the point of calling 911 at 9:34 p.m. And at this time, we will play the 911 call in its entirety.
Yes. Yes, sir. Hopefully you guys will be able to hear it. You can't hardly hear it.
Walking by themselves. Hold on. Where on 49 are you? I'm right next to the exit 10 by the Hoover Med, like to get off by the Hoover Med. Okay, so you're before the exit? Yes. Okay, and were you headed southbound or northbound? Okay, towards Tuscaloosa or towards 280? Towards Tuscaloosa. Okay, and was the child on the left or right side? On the right side. Were they walking northbound or southbound? They're walking towards Tuscaloosa. Walking southbound. Or how old do they look? Like a toddler, like maybe like 3 or 4. Did you pull over with them? Are you still with them? Yes. Okay, are you with the child right now? No, I'm not. I didn't get out of the car. I can see them though. Do you mind staying and keeping an eye on them until we get there? Yeah, sure, yeah. Okay, what kind of car are you in? I'm in a red Mercedes-Benz. Is it a sedan or SUV? SUV. I mean, it's a sedan, sorry. Can you put your hazards on for me? Yeah, they're on. Okay, did you talk to the child at all, or did you say anything to them? No. Okay. No. Do they look like they're injured? No, they don't. Are they white, black, Hispanic, or Asian? They're white. Okay. Is it male or female? I think it's a boy, a little boy. White male? Okay, so is he wearing clothes? Yes. Okay. What is he wearing? It's a white t-shirt, and it doesn't look like he has any pants on. It looks like a diaper. And you don't see any cars anywhere? No, no cars anywhere. Okay. All right. What's your name? My name is Carlee Russell. And you don't see any injuries on the child from where you're at, correct? No, but I can't really see them that good. Okay, try to keep an eye on them for the best you can, because I don't want you to lose track of them. Okay. All right, and do they have shoes on? No. Not that I can see. I can't really see that. Okay. All right, I've got them on the way, okay? Just try to keep an eye on them, but officers are on the way, okay? Okay, thank you.
Carlee called a relative after speaking with the 911 operator. She went missing during that conversation sometime after 9:36 p.m. Traffic camera footage was obtained which depicted this portion of the incident, and that footage was analyzed as part of the investigation in conjunction with the 911 call and cell phone data to accurately determine the time frame. Carlee's 911 call remains the only report of a child on the interstate, despite numerous vehicles passing through the area at that time. No one has called to report that a child is missing, and the Hoover Police Department did not locate any evidence of a small child walking down the interstate. Data from Carlee's phone, including her Life 360 app, shows that she traveled approximately 600 yards in her vehicle while she was on the phone with 911, stating that she was following a child. 600 yards. That is 6 football fields straight, 600 yards. The Hoover 911 Center received a second call from Carlee's mother stating that a relative was on the phone with her when they heard Carlee scream, and then they had an open phone line. Hoover police officers arrived on the scene within 5 minutes of being dispatched, and several other officers arrived shortly. They located Carlee's wig and cell phone in the grass near the vehicle. Her purse was located in the front seat of her vehicle with her Apple Watch in the purse. The food she ordered for Tzatziki's was also in the car.
There you go.
The items she purchased from Target, as well as the items taken from her place of employment, were not in the vehicle, nor were they
Don't forget, it
located
was a
anywhere
road.
around the city.
Hmm.
Hoover police deployed all available assets from the point in the search for Carlee. Additional resources were called in to include our own drone unit, crime scene investigators. Numerous detectives responded to the scene. Throughout the day Friday, officers from surrounding local and federal agencies assisted Hoover police in the search for Carlee Russell. Officers returned to the scene on 459 to conduct a thorough line search for evidence. K-9 teams from the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department responded to check for any sign of Carlee, the child that she claimed to see, and anything else that could be considered evidence in this case. Those searches all turned up empty. Private citizens, including search parties organized by our family, friends, began looking everywhere that they could to find any trace. These searches took place throughout the day Friday and again on Saturday, yielding nothing. At 10:44 p.m. on July 15th, the Hoover 911 Center receives a call from Carlee's residence stating that she returned home on foot. In subsequent investigations, detectives obtained surveillance footage of Carlee walking down the sidewalk alone prior to arrival at her residence. She was conscious and speaking with paramedics when she was transported to UAB. Detectives were able to obtain a brief statement from her prior to being treated and released. During the statement, she told detectives that while traveling down the interstate, she saw a baby walking down the side of the road and called 911.
There's her statement.
She stated when she got out of her vehicle to check on the child, a man came out of the trees and mumbled that he was checking on the baby. She claimed that the man then picked her up and she screamed. She stated he then made her go over a fence. She claims he then forced her into a car, and the next thing she remembers is being in the trailer of an 18-wheeler. She stated that the male was with a female. However, she never saw the female, only hearing her voice. She also told detectives she could hear a baby crying. She told detectives the male had orange hair with a big bald spot on the back. She said she was able to escape the 18-wheeler and fled on foot, only to be captured again and then was put in a car. She claimed she was then blindfolded, but was not tied up because the captor said they did not want to leave impressions on her wrists. She said that they took her into a house and made her get undressed. She believes they took pictures of her, but she does not remember them having any physical or sexual contact. She stated the next day she woke up and was fed cheese crackers by the female. She said the woman also played with her hair, but could not remember anything else. At some point, she was put back in a vehicle she claims was able to escape while it was in the West Hoover area. She told detectives she ran through lots of woods until she came out near her residence. During this interview, detectives noted that Carlee had a small injury to her lip, and she claimed that her head was hurting. She also had a tear in her shirt. Detectives also noted that she had $107 cash in her right sock.
Ah,
Out of respect for Carlee and her family, detectives did not press for additional information in this interview and made plans to speak with her in detail after giving her time to rest. Detectives continue analyzing data from Carlee's cell phone that was left behind at the scene. We enlisted the help of the United States Secret Service in conducting this analysis. Part of what data includes several internet searches in the days leading up to her disappearance that I think are very relevant to this case. On July 11th at 7:30 a.m., the term, "You have to pay for an Amber Alert," was searched. On July 13th at 1:03 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term, "How to take money from a register without being caught," was searched. On July 13th at 2:13 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term "Birmingham bus station" was searched. On July 13th, 2:35 a.m., a search for a one-way bus ticket from Birmingham to Nashville was conducted with a departure date of July 13th. On July 13th at 12:10 p.m., a search for the movie Taken, a film about abduction, was conducted.
wow. Try
There were
telling you.
two
It's
searches later
coordinated.
to Amber Alerts on a computer at Carlee's place of employment, including one regarding the maximum age of an Amber Alert. There were other searches on Carlee's phone that appeared to shed some light on her mindset, but out of respect for her privacy, we will not be releasing the content of those searches at this time. We've asked to interview Carlee a second time, but have not been granted that request. As you can see, there are many questions left to be answered, but only Carlee can provide those answers. What we can say is we've been unable to verify most of Carlee's initial statement made to investigators, and we have no reason to believe that there is a threat to the public safety related to this particular case. Thank you very much.
With that, we'll open the floor for some questions. Please raise your hand and I will call on you.
We will listen to the questions.
Do you expect any charges against Carlee Russell in connection with the disappearance and in connection with what was taken from the Woodhouse spa?
Right now, our focus is to determine those 49 hours, so the investigation continues. So to be perfectly honest with you, that hasn't even entered our mind or been discussed.
That's bullshit. Let me read through the garbage. Let's read through the word salad. Yes, as soon as their investigation's wrapped up and it shows that she
Well, I
was
think the
culpable, they
family
will
has
make
stated
an
to
arrest.
us that they didn't think that in her mental state right now, because of trauma of the incident, that she's not ready to talk, is what we've been told.
Go ahead, sir. Yeah, question for Chief. You stated that the abductor had orange hair. Was this abductor black male? Was it female? Black female? White female?
I believe it's a white male. Am I correct by saying that? Was it ever? Yeah, white male.
Is this alleged abductor yet on loose in the Hoover area?
Don't believe so.
Yes, ma'am.
Chief Brigadier WBRC, has a toxicology report been done, and were any drugs or illegal substances found in her system?
We have no report of that.
Is any indication of mental illness in this case?
Not that I'm aware of.
There's been a concern in the community that if this turned out not to be a true story, that the next time a young woman of color was missing, that it might not be taken seriously. How would you respond to that?
I'd respond to say that we investigate every crime to the fullest, just like we have this one.
Was she traveling with anyone? Excuse me. Was she traveling with anyone since the time she disappeared, to your knowledge?
And not to my knowledge.
Chief, I know you said you weren't able to verify a lot of aspects of the story. Where do you think she went, and how would you characterize what happened here?
You know, that's the $100 question. You know, we pretty much know exactly what took place from the time she left work until she got on the 911 call, and we can see getting out of the car on the interstate from that footage. And after that, I think she only knows. We don't know.
Well, one quick follow-up. Her parents. Did you speak with Carlee's parents? And why do you think it is they were so adamant that there was an abductor?
Yeah, I think parents are believing what their daughter's saying, and we've had a very good rapport with the parents, met with them on several occasions. I've talked to them today a few times, and to make them understand that we're under pressure from our community, not only in our community of the state, but nationally when the story hit. And I just wanted them to understand that today we were going to have a press conference, and what we were going to detail today are facts. And everything that I've told you today is actual facts. It's not innuendos. It's not what I think. It's not what these detectives think. It is the factual information that we have. Well, I think our detectives have talked to the parents, and we're ready. We're ready to talk as soon as she's ready. So, you know, she called right now. We're ready. Ooh, how about unknown? You know, we know the facts that we have. Everything else is unknown at this time.
In the back. What have the past few days been like for you, your department? This has been a stressful search.
Well, absolutely. And again, the focus of the investigation that Thursday when she went missing, of course, the focus was to get Carlee home. That's what we want all. We wanted her safe and sound. And that's all happened. And then, of course, this has gotten to be not only a local state story, but a national story. So, you know, it is. It's a lot of stress on everyone in the Hoover Police Department, and the mayor, to every citizen here. We want to know the truth.
As you stand here, are you frustrated?
I wouldn't say I'm frustrated. I mean, I'm very happy that Carlee's home. That was the main ingredient here, and then we'll figure it out. I promise you that we'll end up figuring it out.
Any idea about the number of manpower hours or the expense of the drones and all the rest of the search that might cost the city and the state and federal government?
Yeah, we haven't had time to consider that, but it's you know, again, these detectives that are here, this is just a small group of people that have been associated with this case. We have put every available resource that we have on this case because we wanted to make sure that we found out everything. We wanted to get her home, and we have.
Chief, is there any prior indication of mental health problems?
Not that I'm aware of.
Can you just expand on the people from the state, federal resources brought in? What were they doing exactly as you all were searching for them? Just expand on that.
Sure. A lot of the from the FBI side, several agents helping us interview. I mean, as you well know, in a case like this, especially when it goes national, we got hundreds and hundreds of calls. And when you get those calls, some of them may just be outlandish, but you got to follow up on them because you never know that you may get that one tidbit. And I'd also say too that we had a great cooperation with the family. The family received hundreds and hundreds of tips, and every time they got a tip, they sent it to us.
Would you say a crime has been committed?
No, we have not determined that. No.
Keith Mims, WAGG 610 Summit Media. Question for Chief. With all of the searches that you mentioned, Chief, that were on Carlee's phone, does that kind of give you an indication of her mind state during this ordeal, 48 hours?
Yeah.
That she went missing?
Well, you know, again, we want to talk in facts, and I do think it's highly unusual to the day that someone gets kidnapped, that 7 hours, 8 hours before that they're searching the internet, Googling the movie Taken about an abduction. I find that very strange. Yes.
Do you feel confident, your investigators feel confident that you know why Carlee Russell may have done?
No, we do not know. Absolutely not.
Chief, can you explain for us, you mentioned that while at Louisa and Carlee was on the front line of one, she was traveling 6 football fields, which tells you what?
Which tells me that I've had kids, and I'm sure a lot of people here have.
Yes.
And it's very, again, she said it, and I'm not saying it couldn't happen because I've always been one of these guys, never say never, but 6 football fields. I like athletics. I like football. 6 football fields. To think that a toddler, barefoot, that could be 3 or 4 years old, is going to travel 6 football fields without getting in the roadway, without crying, without any just moving down. It's just very hard for me to understand.
Chief, have you used any technology to enhance that video from 459? And did you see a man grab her?
We did not see, from what we can tell, we don't see anybody on the interstate other than her car and then someone getting out of her driver's side.
Again,
We have sent that off to the FBI for enhancement. It has not been returned.
Do you think in this case that charges will be forthcoming towards Carlee Russell? And how serious of a crime is it to not only fabricate a 911 call, but to lie to law enforcement during an investigation?
Well, you know, again, that's not something that we've been discussed since we're going through the still investigation. But, you know, people have to understand that when someone says something like this, we put every available resource. Everybody comes together from, like I say, state, local,
Hold on.
federal.
Hold on.
It's just a lot of work, and you know, gentleman early said frustrated. I mean, it is a little frustrating to think that all this has been done and we can't find anything out.
Did anyone see her calling in from the side of the road when she made that 911 call?
Not to my knowledge.
All right, last question here. Is this investigation held up until you can speak once again to Carlee Russell?
Well, there's a few things that we're still doing, but obviously we want to talk to Carlee as soon as we can.
She's going to jail,
and
folks.
do an in-depth interview. And at that time, I think we'll have these investigators doing some other things. So
yeah, like putting handcuffs on her.
Today, we appreciate you guys coming, and we'll be following up with y'all later. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time, Chief.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, guys.
Breaking news
No.
on WFLA Now. Here's
Okay. So, guys, I know this is a lot of people wonder how can this crazy lunatic called Bullhorn Betty be on YouTube and be successful, be with all her crazy antics and, you know, attention to these cases and bringing attention to these cases. This is the reason why people come to this channel, because even when it was an unpopular viewpoint to tell you guys the truth, when we needed to remove the PC culture so that you guys could get the information you needed to make your decision, we came through and we will continue to come through. I have been on this. I have stated it. I have screamed it from the rooftops. I have even on TikTok, I have come under massive fire because of me looking at the evidence, digging deep, and then digging deeper. It started becoming very clear to me about 2 or so hours before she returned home. And her story for me was falling apart. And as a matter of fact, before she returned home, Olivia and I were on the phone quite a bit discussing these very things. And I told her she did this. She concocted this. This is a ploy. This is not real. And granted, even Olivia wanted to take the cautious route on this. I'm sorry. When I know something, I know something. I dug into it. I looked into it, and everything turned out to be foul. Foul, foul, foul. And the only time you keep hitting foul, foul, foul is if it's a lie. I should have been able to corroborate something. I corroborated nothing with the story, except she was at that spot at that time, made the 911 call, and called her family, and she was alone. That's all I knew. So again, I tried warning you guys this morning when we did our live that you guys are going to be shocked, for especially the ones that believe she didn't strategically plan this. And I had my ears to the ground there in Alabama, even though I could not be there. I had boots on the grounds in Alabama feeding me information. So there was a lot of information that I was a privy to that others weren't. And in an effort to kind of keep my source and the information flowing, I've never talked about it until now. So if you're wondering why we had some of this information, it's because we were there. Just wasn't me. And I knew as soon as she returned home, this whole entire story was unraveling. And I just want to thank my audience. That's my velvet. I've got to drop this. So I just want to tell you all, thank you. Thank you, because it's you. You're the one that believed in me and continues to believe in me. And I only show how good we are together when times like this happen. You know, when everybody's on the same page and they're fighting for, you know, a story or something like that. You know what I'm saying? People want, they can say you're lying. When you research something and you take the most unpopular viewpoint because that's what the evidence shows you, and you stand on that, that's when people on social media finally see why people come over here. Think about how many people told you, wait, just wait. You know, she was abducted. She was abducted. We haven't seen anything. I'm sorry. I'm not going to tell you what to think or how to think. I'm going to give you the information and allow you to think for yourself. When I received the information, I explained what it said to me. If it didn't say that to you, it didn't say that to you. But I've been doing this for a really, really long time, despite what people try to say about me. And here we are. This is where we can show our professionalism and our work and show and stand apart from everybody else. I don't need law enforcement telling me this. I didn't need the law. I didn't need this press conference. I didn't need it. I knew what was going to be said. I knew what was going to be said. But there are many people in my audience that needed this press conference. So anyways, guys, I just want to tell you guys, thank you. You are amazing. But we're going to keep doing what we're doing. And sometimes the stuff that we're doing is unpopular. Some of the things that we say goes against people's feelings and emotions. I never came here and told you I was going to feed you a bunch of BS of what you wanted to hear. I promised my audience I would tell you the truth. And so far, our batting average is still pretty damn good here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. With that, you guys have an amazing day. I'm going to go fill my belly. And I'm not talking to any of you guys until tomorrow. All right? Because I just need to leave. Hello. So as you guys are out there on YouTube, tell all my haters, how do they like having to eat this yet again? How's that egg starting to taste? Has the egg even come off their face in like a really long time? I don't know. Take care.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.